What's going on, y'all? I know it's a surprise coming to you with Bardo's Breakdown. Wednesday, right at noon, a little lunchtime special. I didn't get a chance to go Monday, so I want to start coming a little bit more frequently, not as long, but just to talk about either, what happened last night or what happened today. So thanks for tuning in. You're watching Bardo's Breakdown. If you want your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology, go to bardostribe.com, BARDOS tribe.com. Get your free copy. All you got to do is share your email, and then you get this free copy of this Guide to Basketball Terminology. I won't blow you up. I send out an email newsletter about once a week. So if you want to join the newsletter, go to Bardo's Tribe as well. BARDOS tribe.com. And there's one more way that you can join the inner circle of Bardo's Breakdown. That is the tribe. Text me to 312-847-2739. Again, text me to 312-847-2739. I'm a little tired because I had to get up at the crack of this morning to catch my flight back to Chicago. Sorry about that. So dragging a little bit, but got to the gym, got a little bit of energy, so we rolling with it. I want to come on and talk today about the game that I called last night, observations from Illinois' win at Ohio State. I was on with Jack Collinsworth on the Peacock Network, and we led off a night of Big Ten basketball. We were the first game. The second game, Noah Eagle and Robbie Hummel covered Michigan and Michigan State, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But observations from Illinois' victory last night. Terrence Shannon Jr.'s joy. That's a tongue twister. Terrence Shannon Jr.'s joy has come back, and it came back last night. I was really happy to see Terrence at shoot around before the game. I gave him a big hug. I told him how proud I was of him, of how he's conducting himself in a fashion that I'm sure that his family and his parents and people are proud of, because he's been under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of stress. And I thought that the game against Indiana, he looked like a shell of himself. He was indecisive. He didn't play with that passion, that fire, that emotion that we've grown accustomed to seeing. And he was flatlined. And so I don't know what Brad Underwood said. I don't know what his teammates did. But whatever it was, they need to keep doing, because Terrence was old Terrence last night, getting to the bucket, flexing, and ones, hit the three. He had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 of 17 from the field. Not terrible. You want him being aggressive. 3 of 7 from 3. That's almost 50%. And he got to the free throw line. So I thought he did a good job. Obviously, he could get on the glass a little bit more. I know Underwood would like to see that. But he was aggressive. He was getting downhill. He was shooting his 3, and he was old Terrence, the Terrence that we've grown accustomed to seeing. So I was very, very pleased with that. Very happy to see him and be able to put my eyes on him and give him a hug, look him in the eye, and tell him that, we're proud of him. We love him. He's in the brotherhood. We're pulling for everything to work out, and the legal situation to come to a conclusion that is good for him and his family. So I was really pleased to be there. I was pleased to call the game. Ohio State fans were, tripping on me a little bit on Twitter. And, I said some things on the air, which I don't normally do, but I did last night because I wanted to see if they were paying attention, because the Ohio State fan base for basketball is pitiful. I said it. It's poor. The Value City Arena is built like the United Center. It's too big for an on-campus facility. There's not enough passion for the basketball program at Ohio State. It's easy to come in and get a road victory. The students have no unison. They don't have any united cheers. They don't do anything. They sit there and they face paint. And they paint their bodies, and they're quiet. They make no noise. They don't do anything. This is this Ohio State team is the youngest team in the Big Ten. And young teams have to thrive off energy. And if you're not getting any from your home crowd, it's difficult. And so it's a catch-22, right? Ohio State's losing. They've lost, I believe they've lost 5 of their last 6. 6 of their last 7. Only win in that stretch was at home against Penn State. I actually did that game. But this is a talented ball club, but they may not have enough firepower to be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten like many preseason prognosticators thought. But I'm sending a message out to the Ohio State fan base. You got to do better. You're in the Big Ten Conference. It can't all be about football. Michigan basketball is very similar. It can't be all about college football. It's got to be about basketball. Albeit Jerry Lucas, Bobby Knight back in the 50s, but Ohio State has a national championship. Michigan has a national championship. And I'm not talking about Michigan right now. I'm talking about Ohio State. I've been there 3 times this year. And I felt bad for the players because that's not the Big Ten college basketball experience. Go to Nebraska and look at a program that I don't even think Nebraska's been to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament ever. And they fill Pinnacle Bank Arena. Now, it's not quite as large as Value City, but it's 16,000, and they get it rocking in there, right? So you can look at other Big Ten programs and see that they're getting quality support, right? Let me show this while I'm going in on my diatribe. The crowd is quiet. They're fair weather towards basketball. And listen, Chris Holtmann, it's swirling that his job may be in jeopardy. There's a new athletic director that they've already hired, Ross Bjork, that's going to be starting July 1st is going to be his start date. Gene Smith, the current and outgoing AD, will be leaving his post, I believe, June 31st. And Ross Bjorkman is kind of shadowing Gene, which is a great thing. But Ohio State fans, trust me when I say this. You don't want to change coaches. Chris Holtmann is a great coach. They went young. They've tried to build around young players. And unfortunately, in the Big Ten, this is not a league that you build young. You have to be old and stay old. It's very difficult to build in today's college basketball landscape, especially in the Big Ten, because this is an older league, right? And so last year, the Buckeyes won late because they had nothing to lose. They had lost 14-15 in conference play. Chris Holtmann got them. I don't know what he did, but he got them fired up. They started playing. They were loose. They were relaxed. They started attacking, and they played well in the Big Ten Conference tournament. But they had nothing to lose because they knew they didn't have anything. They didn't have any postseason aspirations. And so that's why they won late. And what that did was give us in the media fool's gold of thinking that, okay, those wins late will translate over a summer of hard work. They pick up Jamison Battle in the transfer portal, Dale Bonner in the transfer portal, and these guys are supposed to provide some leadership. Zero leadership from those guys. Zed Key has dropped 25 pounds, but I don't know whether he really loves to play the game or not. He seems indifferent to what's going on. Now, he plays hard, but zero leadership, right? And so Ohio State has a quartet of very talented sophomores that have played a lot of they've played a lot of Big Ten basketball. Evan Mahaffey, his first year at Penn State, got a lot of time. Bruce Thornton, Roddy Gale Jr., and Felix Okpara they played starter minutes last year. But there's something missing. I don't think they have enough offensive firepower, in my opinion, to keep pace with the upper echelon teams in the Big Ten. I just don't think they have it because they relied way too much on Roddy Gale Jr., Bruce Thornton, and Jameson Battle for their offense. And they really don't have a lot of depth in that area. So I'm a little disappointed in the Ohio State fans. I took a visit to Ohio State when I was coming out of high school. That was one of my 5 visits. I visited Michigan State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Illinois, and Northwestern. So I know Ohio State a little bit. I know their background. I know their history. Columbus is a great city. Ohio State is a great university, but they're not doing enough to support their basketball program. So this is my charge to you, Ohio State Buckeye fans. Take some of that fervor that you have with Ohio State football and transfer it to Ohio State basketball. What else are you doing in the winter right now? Students, go get some coordinated cheers or something. But you've got to bring more energy to this young basketball team. Because if Ohio State makes a mistake of letting go of Chris Holtmann and expecting someone else to come in and be a savior overnight, I think that's a huge mistake. Because these kids are close. Thornton, Roddy Gale, Felix Akpar, and Evan Mahaffey are close. But they need a vodka drinker. They need an MFer to come in there and be tough as nails, provide some leadership, and smack some opponents in the head. They're too nice. All these guys, all these coaches talk about, we got nice guys. We got good guys. No, you need some weed smokers. You need some vodka drinkers to be successful. You need some tough dudes. You can't all be nice guys and, presentable. You can't, that's not a mix for a championship team. Now, Ohio State's far away from a championship team, but here's the deal. You can't see it this season. But if you retain Chris Holtmann, you bring back that talented sophomore class, and you get one or two impact transfers, which is not hard to do in today's landscape, Ohio State could find themselves right back in the upper echelon of the Big Ten Conference. And that crew, that sophomore crew, if you can get them to stay, those four to be juniors, hopefully they will be tired of losing. Hopefully they would work over the summer and make a pledge to themselves, similar to what the Flying Illini did our sophomore year after being upset by Villanova in the second round. We came back and busted our tails, and the rest is history. This team has the setup to have something similar. I'm not saying there'll be a Final Four team next year, but what I am saying, with Chris Holtmann, one of the better coaches in the game, with a quartet of players, and Devin Royal's a beast. They got a freshman that can play. Scotty Middleton can play. He's a little like this emotionally, but he's going to be a good one. So they've got some pieces in place. Jamison Battle is a good scorer. He's not a leader. He's not tough. It's not what he is. He's an excellent shooter. He's a scorer. He can do that, but he's limited. He's not going to be a leader. Zed Key, low post threat. He just doesn't have leadership material. Dale Bonner looks like he's looking around, and he's one of the oldest cats on the floor. No leadership skills. So, Ohio State fans, do your part. Go to Value City Arena and support this young team to give them something to build on, because your apathy or empathy, whatever you call it, your apathy is going to lead to changes that could affect your program for years to come. All right. Had to get that out of the way, man, because I feel bad for these kids, man. They're not getting the Big Ten experience in that quiet-ass arena, that big cavernous arena that you've got to generate some noise to feel the energy on the court. You can hear people change their mind in Value City Arena. It's so damn quiet. So Ohio State fans, do better. Do better. Your team needs you, okay? All right. Off to the matchup of tonight. Got a great matchup in the Big Ten where it's the rematch of Northwestern's upset of Purdue. So Northwestern goes to number 2 Purdue tonight, and it's going to be fascinating to see how this matchup takes place. So this is one of 2 games tonight. The other game is Penn State at Rutgers. So we're going to focus in on this one. All right. So Northwestern has beaten Purdue the last 2 times these teams have matched up in Evanston. One of the big reasons why they were able to win both games is because they got Zach Edey in foul trouble early. The officials allowed them to they're really beating the crap out of Edey. They're fouling him. And if you get away with it, so be it. You're trying to stop the most dominant player in college basketball. Hey, if the refs let you do it, and the last 2 times in Evanston, the officials have allowed Northwestern to really rough up Zach Edey. I called one of those upsets. Okay. So this is what I want you to look for early on, and you'll know it in the first 5 to 10 minutes. How are the officials going to allow Northwestern to play Edey? If they allow him to be uber physical, then that's going to play in the hands of Northwestern. If they call it closer, if the whistle's tight, that's going to favor Purdue all night long. And here's the game, ladies and gentlemen. If Edey is allowed to score, catch, turn, get to the free throw line, do all these things, and he's on the floor 30 minutes, Northwestern can't win this game. The only way that Northwestern can win this game is they get into Zach Edey and get him into foul trouble, to cut into his minutes, to cut into his production. That's the only way. Because when Zach Edey goes out, now Northwestern can attack the rim, plus they can space you and hit the three. Bowie can do his thing off the bounce and get to the lane and create. He can score. But if Zach Edey's in the game, all those floaters that Bowie gets, that's going to be limited. All the actions that Northwestern runs, Martinelli that gets to the bucket, all that's limited if Zach Edey's not in foul trouble. So that's the formula that you need to look for. All right. Because that's the last 2 times that Purdue's been upset by Northwestern, the Wildcats have beat the crap out of Edey, and the officials have let them do it. So I don't think that will happen tonight because the game is in West Lafayette, but we'll see. We'll have to see. But it's going to be a fascinating game, guys. I'm already going to call it. I'm already going to call the player of the game. The player of this game is going to be Braden Smith from Purdue. You know why? Because he was left off the Bob Cousy list for the top 10 point guards in the country. How do you leave Braden Smith off of a list of the top 10 point guards in the country? How do you do that? That doesn't make any damn sense. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say the player of the game tonight, Purdue is going to win this game, I think. And I think Braden Smith is going to be the player of the game. He might mess around and have a triple-double. I'm telling you, this kid has got some moxie. He thrives off being disrespected. Matt Painter, his coach, felt disrespected and said so in the media by who came up with this list. Does anybody that knows basketball, did they not put Braden Smith? Did they not think about Braden Smith on this list? So that's what I see happening tonight. That's me projecting out to what I think is going to happen tonight in Northwestern Purdue. I think Purdue's going to win because I don't think the officials will allow Northwestern to beat the crap out of Edey like they did in the first matchup in Evanston, to get him into early foul trouble, to make him uncomfortable, to get him overly aggressive and overly emotional so that he makes a mistake, gets in early foul trouble, and now Northwestern can do what they do. Because a non-foul troubled Zach Edey at home with a chance of revenge, an earlier loss, and to keep pace with Wisconsin in the Big Ten conference race, I like Purdue in this one. Let me hear what you guys think on this. And then lastly, before I get to your comments, congratulations to Tom Izzo, 700th career win. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how hard it is to coach 700 games? Just to coach, right? That's a long time. Tom Izzo is in his 29th season as head coach at Michigan State, and he has another 7 to 10 as an assistant, I believe, at least, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy is the dean of Big Ten coaches. I still think Bobby Knight's the best to ever coach in the Big Ten, but I think Tom Izzo's right behind him. He's a salt of the earth. I've known the guy over 35 years. He hasn't changed a bit from when he was a lowly assistant recruiting me and Kendall out of high school to now being the head coach of one of the premier programs in the country. Congratulations, Tom Izzo. Love you, brother. Well-deserved. And hell, you look like you got another 200 or 300 wins left in you. So keep doing your thing. Congratulations. I know that you're cooking up a chemistry batch to get this group to hit their stride at the right time. They're certainly talented enough. They put 48 points on Michigan in the second half last night after Jalen Llewellyn and Michigan played a really good first half. So congratulations, Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans, and many more wins to come, Coach. Love you, man. Congratulations. All right, let me get to you guys' questions, and thank you for letting me vent because I had to get that off my chest about the Ohio State situation because I just think they can do better. Paul Robertson, good to see you. He said, I'll do both. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. What's up, Andrew? Terrence Shannon, top 8 pick, Illinois final 8, thinking final 4. Well, Andrew, they certainly have the ingredients. Terrence Shannon Jr., when he defends, like I didn't even talk about his defense on Bruce Thornton. He was outstanding. Sat down. Let me look at Thornton's numbers because Terrence wasn't on him the whole time, and the game was kind of out of reach. But look, Bruce Thornton played 31 minutes. He was 3-11 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. He had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 assists, and 1 turnover, and 3 fouls. A lot of that credit goes to Terrence Shannon Jr. So when he plays like that, Andrew, he could certainly be a top 10 pick in the NBA draft. So I agree with you on that. And Quincy Guerrier and Coleman Hawkins really didn't play well, but Dane Danger and Ty Rodgers did. They played their tails off. Ty Rodgers, 13 points, 10 rebounds. He was 5 of 6 from the field. Aggressive. Marcus Domas, 23 points, 7 of 12 from the field. Very efficient. Got to the free throw line as well. And Dane Danger played 11 minutes and positive minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, because Coleman Hawkins gets a technical and sits for a while. And Quincy Guerrier just hasn't played well. There's something I noticed about Guerrier, ladies and gentlemen, when he shoots the basketball. When at the beginning of the season, he's leaning back and he's almost fighting his body. And when he was shooting the leather off the ball, he was straight up and down, no lean back. Everything is in motion and no wasted energy, no wasted motion. Last night, when I saw him shoot the 3, I saw him leaning again. So he's got a slight tilt back, and it's messing with his accuracy from 3. And he's played limited minutes. I know coach has been on him about his lack of rebounding. And so he needs to get going. But this is a team with so much firepower that, Andrew, I do believe that they can have a deep run in the tournament. So I agree with you there. Kyrie Thompson, Michigan State's finest. What's up, Kyrie? Bardo, what does Michigan State have to do from this point on to make the tournament? Recently lost to Wisconsin, which is not a bad loss. Are the Purdue and Illinois games important? Yeah, every game is important right now, Kyrie. Let me look at let me go back over here and look real quick at Michigan State, and let's look at their remaining schedule. So Michigan's got a big game. Michigan State's got a big one coming up against Maryland at home. Then they go to Minnesota. They got Illinois coming to their place. They go to Penn State. They go to Michigan. They got Iowa coming to their place. Ohio State coming to their place. At Purdue. Northwestern coming to their place, and at Indiana. So let's look at this. Maryland looks like they're an NCAA tournament team, the way that they're playing lately. Okay? Minnesota on the outside looking in, but that's going to be a tough game at Minnesota. I've got that one on Peacock next week. Then Michigan State welcomes Illinois. That's a quad 1 opportunity. Then they go to Penn State. They go to Michigan. They have to win those. If they lose those, they may be out of contention, at large contention. Because if we look at Michigan State right now, they're 13-8. Right? They don't have much. They might, Kyrie, maybe be able to lose 3 going into the Big Ten tournament and still be okay, but need to do work in the Big Ten tournament. And they got a lot of games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They got 10 conference games left. In my opinion, they need to go 7-3. Can they go 7-3? They got Maryland at home. That's going to be a tough one. Minnesota on the road, they should win that one, but that's going to be a tough one for this group because this Michigan State Spartans group is very inconsistent. Illinois at home, must have. At Penn State, at Michigan, you got to have those games. Can't lose those. Iowa at home, Ohio State at home, going to be tough because Iowa and Ohio State are in similar situations as Michigan State. They got to win. Then you go to Purdue, great opportunity. Northwestern at home, great opportunity, tournament team. And then you finish the regular season at Indiana, who may be playing for their tournament lives as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. But Kyrie, I think they need to go 7-10 to close out the regular season, and then still win some games in the conference tournament to feel okay with an at-large bid. We know Michigan lost Hunter. Remember, 2 or 3 studs went to G League and skipped college. That's over now. So does Juwan have a good class coming next year? I want to see Michigan. How was Juwan's first few years? I don't know their recruiting class. I'm not as familiar with that right now, so we'll have to see. But a lot of swirling over in Michigan right now. So I'm reluctant to comment on Michigan's situation just because there's so much influx right now. We're at the midpoint of the Big Ten. Give me your all Big Ten team as of today. What's up, Kevon? Good to see you again. Thanks for tuning in and supporting Bardo's Breakdown. Zach Edey, Boo Buie, Terrence Shannon Jr. You know what? Let me look at the standings so I don't say something off the seat of my pants to where I'm not being informed. So, AJ Storr, Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon Jr., Boo Buie, Tyson Walker right now. Doug McDaniel needs consideration. I may even throw Jameer Young in there above Tyson Walker, to be honest. To me, Jameer Young's been more dominant than Tyson Walker. So there's some question mark there. I may put Jameer in there ahead of Tyson Walker because Michigan State right now is 5-5. So they're in 1, 2, 3, 4. They're tied for 5th. So they're middle of the road in the Big Ten, and they're underachieving compared to what many thought they would be. Maryland is identical record, 13-8, 5-5 in conference play. And they've got wins at Iowa and at Illinois. That's way better than Michigan State right now. So let me go Jameer Young, AJ Storr, Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon Jr., and Boo Buie are my 5 right now. But good question, Kevon. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. Jay Hood, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Evansville, UIC versus the Purple Aces tonight. Okay, good luck to the UIC Flames. Jonathan Hood is the play-by-play voice of the UIC Flames. Does a great job, as always, on his talk show and his own podcast that he does. So check out Jonathan Hood, one of the veterans in Chicago sports media landscape and one of the good guys. Betty Miniman, do you not understand weed smokers and vodka drinkers? So in college basketball, there's a term for milk drinkers, guys that drink milk, and guys that drink vodka or guys that smoke weed. And those are code terms for non-tattooed, 2-3 car garage players that grew up with 2 or 3 car garages, do everything by the book. Those guys don't win you championships. You got to have guys that draw outside the paper, that used to, color outside the lines that may get caught underage drinking or may get caught smoking weed because these guys are tougher. That's all. I'm not advocating drinking vodka or smoking weed. I'm trying to let you in on college basketball phrases and terminology. So when I talk to the sports information director at Ohio State, or I talk to the assistant coach at Iowa, I can say the exact same thing if they know what I'm talking about. Right? So the best team in the Big Ten right now is Wisconsin. I guarantee you AJ Storr was an MFer. He was tough to deal with at some point in his life because he's got a grit, he's got an edge, he's got a swagger about him. He's the biggest difference right now what Wisconsin's doing from this year and last year. They pretty much have the same team compared to last year and this year. And the major difference is AJ Storr. Jonathan Blackwell, my nephew, it has been a revelation as a freshman. Noah Winter is a good freshman. But the lead dog on that team is AJ Storr. And he ain't no milk drinker. So that's what I'm talking about, Betty. Don't get caught up in the terminology. You're in college basketball world right now. And so we use different phrases and different terminologies for different meanings. Okay? I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying those are catchphrases for guys who are tougher that, you go on the road, milk drinkers ain't getting it done. Guys who are by the book, that they're not winning games on the road. So that's all. So I hope that cleared it up for you. But thank you for tuning in, Betty. I consider you a Big Ten expert. So when you look at Michigan State, watch them play, what is it in your eyes that they lack? To me, is low post scoring. That's one of them. Akins, who had 7 threes last night, is so inconsistent. I agree with that as well. So is it safe to say ranking them number 4 was wrong? No. Rankings are guesses. When you rank people, you're taking in last year's if I can get it out, I think you're talking about preseason national number 4 ranking. Rankings are based on what you did last season, what you brought in, your transfer portal. Did you retain your roster? And the coaches and programs' reputation. That's what goes into rankings. So if you look at Michigan State, they probably had the most entertaining game against Kansas State in last year's NCAA tournament. They lose, I believe, in double overtime. Great game. They could have easily been in the Elite Eight, right? So people take that, they bring back the majority of their roster. They say, okay, these guys are going to be really good. Then they add these McDonald's All-Americans freshmen, and they're going to be really good. And it's Tom Izzo, Mr. March, so they're going to be top 5 in the country. That's what happens. But what happens, Hoop Central, when you look at these rankings can't show what chemistry is, what 4th and 5th year guys and people talking to them and how that affects their game. Or those guys maybe being tired of hearing Tom Izzo's voice because they've been in the program 4 or 5 years. All these are things that you can't quantify, you can't measure. Now, I can see them. I can see it. Malik Hall is as inconsistent as the Chicago weather. Throw Jaden Akins in there as well. AJ Hoggard, you would think at some point that he wouldn't have a run-in with Tom Izzo. But yet in his 10th year in the program, he's still having run-ins with Tom Izzo. Right? So there's a lot there. I mean, you get Jeremy Fears, who was really starting to play, guys. Remember, he went home and got shot in the leg. He's out for the season. He was really coming on. So now you take an important piece off your roster. So there's a lot of things that have been happening with Michigan State. And there's a lot of things that happen in general with every program. You guys don't hear 99.9% of the stuff that goes on in these programs. It's amazing. That's why when people write these books about these programs later on, they're so well read because people are so shocked at how successful these programs can be in spite of all the crap that goes on. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. And I'm gonna share something with you because you're tuning in and you have given your time to me today in this brief period that we have. I'm gonna share some insight. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna share something with you. Uh yeah, I don't in second thought. I'll come on live in Bardo's breakdown group at some point and share some of these insights that I get from the players, from the coaches, from the staffs of these teams. Some of this stuff you guys you, you wouldn't believe it. You simply wouldn't believe it. So thank you, Hoop Central. Is he all the way back from when he got suspended? David, he looked really good last night. He looked really, really good last night. So I'm hopeful that he's back. It's amazing that he can focus amidst the circus that surrounds his life. He's second guessing himself according to the staff and his teammates. He anywhere he goes, he's wondering if people are staring at him, talking about him. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. He's going through quite a bit. And yet, last night, I thought I saw that joy come back, that unbridled aggressiveness, that 6'6", 225-pound freight train. I saw that again last night. He wasn't indecisive. He wasn't giving the ball up too quickly. He was in attack mode. He did a great job defensively on Bruce Thornton, one of the better guards in the Big Ten. So I think from last night's performance, David, I think he's back. Great team effort last night. Glad to see Dre and Amani be impactful and Ty get double-double. Hope Underwood continues to get freshman minutes. I think it will be predicated on how the team is playing. Do they have a lead in the second half? What's the feel of the game? That will dictate more whether Dre gives Lawhorn and Amani Hansberry get minutes. You know what? I want to come back and I actually want to apologize to Dre Gibbs, Lawhorn's mother. I was very critical of her in her Facebook post, kind of being critical of Brad Underwood and his staff the other day and wondering why would a parent do that. I learned some information about this woman, that she's got some challenges in her personal life. And I was not aware of that. I spoke prematurely. So Miss Gibbs Lawhorn, I sincerely apologize for being critical of your comments on Facebook. I was not informed well enough about your situation. I hope that your situation stabilizes itself. I hope that you can get victory over some of your demons that have plagued you in the past, and that I hope you feel like you're loved and that your family is supporting you, because what you're dealing with is real and that's serious. And so I spoke prematurely, so I apologize for that. I just want to get that out. So thank you, Facebook member, for jogging my memory and allowing me to come on and apologize to Dre's mom, because I was critical of her and I didn't need to be in that situation. Dawn Green. Yeah, I said it. Is it that what cheerleaders are for? What about the student section? There are a lot older folks in the stands. They're not so rowdy anymore. I get that, Dawn. But anybody that if you redo a venue, a basketball arena, don't make the seats comfortable. Sorry. Make them bring those foldable things that have a back support, that have a cushion. Make older people bring those. Make the damn place bleachers, because it's too comfortable. They're too comfortable. The State Farm Center in Illinois, I think the same thing. They'll get riled up, but the Orange Crush is great. The Orange Crush is one of the better student sections in the country, let alone the Big Ten. So Illinois' venue, although it gets quiet at times, the Orange Crush does a great job. I don't know what they call the student section at Ohio State. Grateful Dead, because that's how they sound, dead. No life whatsoever. They go through all that, Dawn. They go through, they face paint, they body paint for what? They don't do anything. They don't jump around. They don't wave their arms. They don't nothing. You can hear mice piss on cotton in there. It's so quiet. I'm telling you, it's terrible. So Ohio State fans, do better. Be better. I know your team's not winning, but they need you. Student section, be better. Go watch Purdue tonight and look at their student section. Look at their fans. And those are bleachers. the Mackey Arena is not, they do have comfortable seats on one side, but the other side is bleachers. It ain't comfortable. That's why it's the loudest venue in the Big Ten. So don't make your venues comfortable. Make them uncomfortable. Make people buy those fold-up things that have the back support and the seat cushion for your older fans. That's fine. But make them buy that. Don't put those seats where it's, you sit back and you're at a movie theater, you can fall asleep. Because that's what Ohio State fans are doing. If we had some of our cameras panning the crowd, I'm telling you, man, they could hear us call the game across the court. I'm telling you, it's so quiet in that place. Do better, Ohio State. Do better. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn's a tribe member. Remember, if you want to join the tribe via text me 312-847-2739. Glenn Big Dog Robinson is the best Big Ten player I've ever seen. I'm 40, so if I said top 5 Big Ten players ever to you, who you going with? What's up, Ron Charles? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for the support as always. I really appreciate you. Top 5 Big Ten players ever. Big Dog's in there. I got to throw Glenn Rice in there. I got to throw Rick Mount. Evan Turner needs to be in there because he was dominant. Oh, no, hold on. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Rick Mount. Wow. Big Dog Glenn Robinson. And it's a toss-up between Glenn Rice and Evan Turner for me. Glenn Rice was just a dominant scorer. Evan Turner was a dominant everything. So I'll cheat because you put me on the spot, Ron. But thank you, man. That's a great question. Dan Levy did me like that a couple of weeks ago, and I messed up. Thomas Dagley, what's going on, man? Your thoughts about the Illini implementing the zone defense? They didn't play zone, Thomas. They jump things up. They look like they're playing zone, and they'll let a guy rover. They'll let Coleman rover, and they don't really play zone. I didn't see a zone last night. I saw them try to change things up briefly, but I didn't see a zone defense. Lots of respect for Coach Izzo. Yes, sir, Thomas. Big ups to Coach Izzo on his 700th win. Yeah, Imani. The difference here with Coach K is because Coach K started coaching. He became a head coach a lot younger than Tom Izzo did. Tom Izzo spent a lot of time under Judd Heathcote, God rest his soul, the outstanding Michigan State coach that brought a national championship to East Lansing. So that's the biggest difference, that Coach K started coaching. He started head coaching, and I think he might have been 21. I think he was 21 when he started coaching at Army. I believe that's right. So he got a head start, but Coach K was crazy successful for a long, long time. So it stands to reason. But well, let me look that up real quick. Career wins for Bob Knight. And what I'll tell you is, even if, he's got 902 wins. Bob Knight has 902 wins. Even if Tom Izzo caught him on that, I'm not sure that I would even put him in front of Bob Knight. Bob Knight did some things, ladies and gentlemen. Go back and watch his teams if you can. Go on YouTube, pull up some of his mid to late 80s teams. And so in the 70s, when he was winning championships, when he won the championships in the 70s, he had superior talent. Scott May, Quint Buckner, Kent Benson, those guys are some of the best players in the country. You go to the early 80s, one of the teams that my brother was on, Isaiah Thomas, Randy Whitman, Ted Kitchell, Landon Turner, Ray Tolbert. They had studs, some of the best players in the country. But when you get to the mid to late 80s, you look at that last championship team, Steve Alford was a beast. Steve Alford was one of the better scorers the Big Ten's ever seen. Keith Smart was a good player. Wasn't one of the best players in the country. Thomas, the brother that I played against from the Chicago area that died a few years back. Why can't I remember Thomas's first name? He was a good player. Wasn't one of the best in the country. And he still won a national championship in the era when the Big Ten was, in my opinion, at its toughest. So yeah, it's some discrepancies there. But Tom Izzo doing his thing, man. Congratulations to you. Who's a better college basketball player, Mateen Cleaves or Scoonie Penn? And why do you think they didn't have success at the NBA level? Man, good question. Scoonie Penn was a beast. Scoonie Penn was a better scorer, in my opinion, than Mateen Cleaves, but Mateen Cleaves was a much better leader, floor general. I don't know why they didn't have success. Maybe they didn't go to the right franchises. That's really critical. Whoever you get drafted to is critical. I'm not quite sure, but who is the better college player? I say Mateen Cleaves because he won a national championship. But Scoonie Penn was a beast now. That's a great question, Justin. Scoonie Penn was a beast. Ooh, Donnell Jackson. Great question. Ooh. Hey, listen, like, share, and comment if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, like and share this. It really helps the growth of my channel. I'm really trying to grow the YouTube channel as well. So please, if you're on YouTube and if you're on Facebook, if you want to do me a favor, go over to YouTube, go to Bardo Media and click on this video and hit like and share. Share with people that you think would enjoy this content because I love bringing it to you. And I love the fact that you guys have tuned in. I've got over 70-something people watching right now at lunchtime for something that I just did off the whim. So this is great. Thank you, Donnell. I thought Malik Hall would have a chance at the NBA level. He's too inconsistent. So I no longer believe that. I thought Jackson Kohler may have a chance with his low post ability and I thought he'd have the ability to step away from the bucket. He's been kind of injury prone. So the jury's still out there. I think Xavier Booker has a chance to play at the next level. I think he just needs a lot more time in college than a lot of people think. I think he has a chance. I think Jeremy Fears has a chance to play at the next level. I certainly think Cohen Carr has a chance to play at the next level. Tyson Walker may not be athletic enough. With his size, you've got to be like Ja Morant athletic. You got to be like Derrick Rose athletic, and he's not that. So yeah, he'll get a look, but I don't know that he's a long-term NBA player. Trey Holloman may have a chance now. He's sneaky athletic, very good defensively. He's got some toughness with his football background in high school. He may have a chance. Trey Holloman may have a chance. So I'm looking at Holloman, the three freshmen. And that might be about it. AJ Hoggard. I'll put AJ Hoggard in there. Big body, strong enough, tough enough, got some moxie to him. He may have a chance. I don't think Jaden Akins has a chance. I know he hit 7 threes last night, but he'll hit 0 the next game. That's how inconsistent. He and Malik Hall have been woefully inconsistent. And anytime you have that type of inconsistency, I think it scares NBA scouts away. So that's what I think. But good question, Janelle. Thank you. What's up, John? Coleman needs to quit whining over every call. I know he's emotional, but he needs to be more settled as a leader on this team. John, who anointed Coleman a leader on this team? Are you anointing him a leader because of his age? I don't know that he's a team captain. Coleman's a live wire, and you got to take the good with the bad with him. You're going to get some technicals. You're going to get him arguing with the officials, but he brings you something no other player in the Big Ten can bring. He is the best defensive player in the Big Ten. It ain't even close. I know Clifford Morey gets a lot of love for his blocks. I know Zach Edey gets love for his blocks. They can't get out on the perimeter and defend like Coleman does. Coleman can defend anybody in the Big Ten. Anybody. So you got to take the good with the bad with Coleman. That was a reputation technical foul that he received last night. I don't think he did enough to warrant a technical foul. These officials know he's a hothead, and he got dinged for it. But you got to take the good with the bad with Coleman because he's so talented. He allows the Illini to do a lot of things they're doing right now. Oh, Nick Benson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if please do me a favor, send a nice message in our chat to Nick Benson, please, because a lot of young people may not receive what I said in the manner that he did. So, Nick Benson, I applaud you. You have the maturity to understand that I want to see better from Ohio State. I'm not trying to dog you guys out. I want to see better because I know it's there. Ohio State's one of the biggest by enrollment rather, institutions in the country. There's enough people to fill up that venue. I'm not saying they have to fill it up, but try to get at least 10,000 in there because it's Big Ten basketball. It's great. It's some of the best basketball in the country. So, Nick, kudos to you, my man. And send me your contact information because I want to send you something. I don't know what it is yet. It's going to be a surprise. It might be money. It might be it could be anything. But send me your email address in the comments if you don't mind, so that I can get in touch with you, or text me or something, or join the tribe via text, and I'm going to send you something because that's big time of you to acknowledge this and to agree that there could be an improvement on your part. So, Nick Benson, Ohio State, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate you. And send me your contact information because I want to send you something. Whiskey Tornado. Wow, what a name. Whiskey Tornado. That's pretty sweet. Not sure Hawkins T was deserved. It wasn't, but he's earned it. Would love to see him cut down on the theatrics, but man, can you blame him for? Thank you, Whiskey Tornado. Thank you. Thank you. We have legislated college sports. We have legislated all the enthusiasm and passion out of college sports. The freaking referees will look at a bench and go like this. Now, it's not the referee's fault. It's the rules. The referees are only doing that, but that shit drives me crazy. What does the freaking bench jumping up and down, yelling for their teammates have anything to do with player safety? Absolutely freaking nothing. That's the worst rule in sports. Are you kidding me? On one side, you want these guys to be passionate, enthusiastic, emotional, but where can they show it? Coleman can't go, oh, shoot, without getting a technical. He jumped up and went like this. I don't think he cursed. I don't think he did anything. He just went, oh, and he gets a technical. And so what happens is all the other players that see that, anytime they want to do something, they want to show some emotion, they're scared to do it because they'll get a tech. So, Whiskey Tornado, you are, man, I am starring that comment. That's the best. You and Nick Benson are bringing it. That's a great comment. I love the passion. He does care. And people that don't understand that, get with the program. We're not in a sterile environment. We're dealing with people. People are emotional. We make mistakes. So what? Play on. You got Dane Danger came in for Coleman, did a great job. Now you move on to the next game. But Coleman Hawkins, anybody that has contact with Coleman Hawkins, please tell him, do not lose that passion. Do not lose that fire. The Illini need that. Thank you, Whiskey Tornado. Great comment. Will Purdue have 2 losses before March 2nd? March 1st? Yes. The Big Ten winner will have probably 3 losses. I think the Big Ten winner will have at least 3 losses this year. So that means Wisconsin will lose 2 more times. That means Purdue will lose once more. And I wouldn't be surprised if both of them lose more than that. Hey, Michael, good to see you, my man. Underwood observed, likes to play old at the end. Yes, would like to see more minutes for Ty. Yes, yep, love watching his play around the rim. Also, really brings in. Yeah, I agree on all fronts, Michael. Ty's really playing his tail off. I love to see it. Well, you know what, Larry? I think. Oh, what's up, Boo? Good to see you, brother. Larry, I think the reason Underwood put the freshman is that the game was kind of out of reach. They had a comfortable lead. I think he wanted to send Quincy Guerrier and Coleman Hawkins a message that even though that Illinois is winning, he wasn't necessarily pleased with their effort and output. And so you have a double-digit lead over a team in Ohio State that's used to losing, and I think Underwood felt a little bit more comfortable in that scenario. But it was good to see because they need to play whenever they can. Paul, I think so. I don't know if he'll be first team, but he's right there. Robert, it's going to be a great game tonight. No, I don't think it was deserved, Michael. I think it was I said it on the air. I think that was a reputation technical based on his previous interaction with officials. They know he's kind of, he's just emotional. He wants to win. Jonathan Taylor, big win by the Illini last night. Staying aggressive, nice defense, block early in the game. Love seeing the freshmen come in and play. Wow, you guys are really loving these freshmen getting a chance to play. Thank you, Dawn. Lately, there are so many personalities that talk off the top of their head, spewing nonsense. I just can't stand it. Me neither. Thank you, Don. I appreciate you. Justin Friesen. Kevon, Justin Friesen, you guys got the same avatar. How you doing this? I wonder if Tom Izzo finally goes into the portal this summer. He may. He might because he's going to have a number of roster spots to fill, so he might. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, he got Tyson Walker out of the transfer portal. So he's done it before. Does anyone know the diagnosis? Xavier Johnson for Indiana, the extent of his injury. No, I don't, Bo. I'm going to find out here soon because I got to dive into the research because I've got Penn State at Indiana on Saturday, so I've got a little bit of time. But I don't know. I don't know right now. Great call, Lazy Forrest Gump. Thanks for that bit of information. What do you think about Anthony Leal picking up Indiana? I didn't see the game because I had my own. I have to go back and watch it. I will watch it. I'm not surprised. Anthony Leal's a veteran. He loves Indiana. He grew up in that area. He loves Indiana more than anybody. So I'm not surprised. Yes, Don. It looks like he's starting to. It's starting to normalize for him, and how you normalize something like that, I don't know. But he's starting to do a good job with it. Tony Ray Harvey. What's up, Tony Ray Harvey? Good to see you. I mean, he's going to get minutes as Brad Underwood sees fit. And I guess the matchup last night was not as favorable for him. So he didn't play as many minutes, but he can shoot the ball. So and he plays good defense. So he's always going to be in the mix. No, Jonathan. TSJ is not Kenny Battle. No. Here's why. And I was reluctant to go in this, but since you guys have tuned in, I'm gonna give you those. We still got 78 people watching this. I'm gonna give you something to think about. Terrence Shannon Jr. looks so electrifying because he's playing against people who are pedestrian. The Big Ten is nowhere near what it used to be. Boo Booey, Jameer Young, these guys would not be averaging what they're averaging when we played. It wouldn't happen. So when you see Terrence Shannon Jr., what he's doing right now, he's doing it against competition that wouldn't even get scholarships in the Big Ten. Not played. Some of these people that are starting in the Big Ten, they wouldn't even get Big Ten scholarships when I was playing. That's the level of difference between when we played and Kenny Battle's running past NBA players. He's dunking on NBA cats. Terrence Shannon Jr., on the other hand, is playing against guys who are not going to play after their college careers are over. Most of them won't play professionally. That's the difference. A bunch of NBA dudes and Kenny Battle's flying past them, or Terrence Shannon Jr., who is probably, he's not even as fast as Kenny Battle. He's a little bit faster than Nick Anderson, but he's not as skilled. He's not as strong. He looks like a freight train because, again, like, let me give you an example. A guy like, okay, I'll give you an example. Kanye Clary at Penn State, right? Kanye Clary looks like shifty, and he is. He's low to the ground. He's shifty. He can finish. He can create. What do you think Kanye Clary would do against a 6'6" Stephen Bardo? Absolutely nothing. I would he'd be so locked up, he'd be questioning whether he'd be playing college basketball. That's not to pick on Kanye Clary. What I'm giving you is an example of one of the leading scorers in the Big Ten that would have a very difficult time playing against us. So when you look at Terrence Shannon Jr., keep that in mind. Do not compare him to guys in my era because it's not the same. Terrence Shannon Jr. would play with the flying Illini. He wouldn't start. Would he play more minutes than Marcus Liberty or Larry Smith? I don't know. He's super talented. I'm not taking anything away from him. But this is today's college basketball. So please don't make the mistake of comparing what Terrence Shannon Jr. is doing right now and comparing that to what Kenny Battle did 30 years ago, because it's apples and oranges. You're talking two different books. We're not even in the same, let alone the same page. We're not in the same book. I know I sound crazy, but I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what I know. That's a good question because I've never really had to buy tickets, so it's I don't really know. Bo, I knew who you're talking about. No problem. I knew who you're talking about. Anthony, you like that one, huh? You can use it. My dad used to say that all the time. Like, man, it's so quiet. That's a line he used to use all the time. I got these old Southern sayings that I like to pull out every now and then. Stadium seats is what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, this is good. Illini forever. Oh, this is good. See, and I might end up hurting some feelings, but top 5 Big Ten stadiums: Purdue, Indiana, Michigan State, Maryland, Illinois, in that order. That's a pretty good list. Have you been to Pinnacle Bank Arena yet? Have you been to Williams Arena when it's rocking at Minnesota? Have you been to the Rack in Rutgers? If you haven't been to these places, you may want to check them out. Because from a former player and a broadcaster, Purdue and Indiana, no question. Michigan State is in there. Maryland, yeah, when it's rocking, it's in there. Illinois, I don't know. I don't know if I'd put Illinois top 5. I don't know. I think I'd put Pinnacle Bank ahead of State Farm Center. Carver Hawkeye, not great support lately. The Kohl Center is cold. They got ice underneath the floor. It's cold in there, man. So I think sometimes the people are just, they're not cheering because they're trying to stay warm. But it's not loud. Not like Purdue, Indiana. Those places are loud. Pinnacle Bank can get loud. The Breslin Center, Michigan State can get loud. State Farm, not so much. So the top 4, and I'd put Nebraska in there as well. What up, Simeon? Good to see you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Unfortunately, Jeanette, I don't do any Big Ten women's basketball. I'd love to. Please hope you give thought she and the fan ran each other and her coach made it look like they were running. So when you saw it, didn't she run into the fan? Yeah, Jeanette, I'm not going to get into that. Because Caitlin Clark she's a meteorite. And she's affecting the game in such a positive manner that, that was a little brush up. The reason why it happened is because of Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeye team being so good that they sold out that venue. And there were people in the venue to cheer on the ladies team. That's why I know Ohio State can do better. They had a full house. They cheered on the ladies team to an upset. And you had people rushing the floor. It happens in college sports. I don't make anything of it. I love what Caitlin Clark is doing for the Iowa program. I love what she's doing for women's basketball. And I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, Thomas. They played zone against Indiana. I didn't see them play against Ohio State. So I don't know. I don't think he likes to use it that much, but I'm sure they may use it when they need to. Bo, I said Coach K started his coaching career at Army. Coach K's coaching career, I believe he started, yes, in 19, no. Okay. So he was a point guard at Army. His first job, he was an assistant at Indiana under Knight for 1 year. Then in 1975, he became the head coach at Army. I believe, okay, he was really, really young. I know that. On this Wikipedia page, it doesn't say exactly. Okay, I'm sorry. He was a head coach at 28. I think that's when he got his first. Yeah, it looked like he was. I thought he was even younger than that, but it looks like he was. That can't be right. That's not right. Because if he became the head coach at Army the year after, it is right, because there's a hole in his resume from the time that he finished in Army at 69 to the time that he became an assistant coach at Indiana. That's 5 years. He might have had to do some time in the service. I don't want to take the time to read all that. But yeah, he got an earlier start as a head coach than Tom Izzo did, I believe. Yeah, who ball scoop? He'd have to coach a lot more. Yep, Knight got the most out of his talent. Tell me about Nick Anderson's shot. Give me the analysis. What did Coach Henson say? What did Nick say? What did you see on that pass? What were the emotions like before and after the shot? Well, me and Lowell Hamilton got switched, and he's got switched to Jay Edwards. And Jay Edwards hit a tough shot from the corner over Lowell's hands, over the backboard, hit nothing but cotton. I quickly call a timeout. We go back to the huddle. We draw up a play that we worked on in practice where Nick Anderson comes from the weak side. He does a banana curl. So it's kind of like this. So he goes from one side of the court, gets a screen, and he's curling back. Yeah. Yeah, he's curling away from our bench and catching on the move into his shot. So in the huddle, Coach Henson's telling me, look, we've practiced this before. We're going to bring Nick from the weak side. I believe it was it Kenny Battle that set the screen? Kenny Battle Lowell sets the screen. Nick does that banana curl. I throw the pass to a spot. Nick gets to the spot, catches it, elevates, and when he hits it, that's one of the most euphoric feelings I've ever felt on Line Out Forever. You will look. There's no sound better than 18,000 something Hoosier fans losing their minds after Jay Edwards hit that shot because they knew they'd won. I throw a bullet to Nick. Nick elevates from 35 feet. Is nothing but cotton. That place was so damn quiet. All you heard was the Illini fans going crazy. And my dad jumps over the bench, hops over the bench. So Dad's 85 now. He was 84, and let's say that was 30 years ago. So he was 54, still in great shape, hops over the bench and joins into the celebration. It was one of the best times next to my children being born and spending time with my friends and family. That was one of the best times of my life. I'm telling you. To see Bob Knight disappointed and those guys walk back to the locker room with their heads down and us having a party on Assembly Hall's floor. Oh, man. Nothing better. I will take that to my grave as one of the best experiences of my life. Never forget it. Yeah, Ian Gitchell, you're right about that. So Paul, here's let me pull this up. So I've created a free guide. It gives terms and definition of some of the terms that I use when I'm talking or when I'm calling games, or some of the lyrics that I use and what they mean. And it's a free guide. It's a PDF guide. All you do is go to Bardo's Breakdown. I'm sorry, Bardo's Tribe, BARDOS tribe.com. There'll be a pop-up window. Simply, it'll say, get your free copy. It's free, y'all. Free lunch. Get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. And it's a fun guide. Shows you some of the hip hop and jazz lyrics that I use to describe what's going on in basketball. And it will also sign you up for the newsletter. So check it out if you like. No pressure. Go to bardostribe.com. You can text me at 312-847-2739 if you'd like to go that way. So thank you for your question. I hope that, answers everything for you. Let me make sure I get to everybody before I wrap up. Let's see. Dan Cross, one of Carbondale's and University of Florida's finest, doing his thing. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. I think that's about it, y'all, because I thought I was going to come on for 15, 20 minutes, and I've been an hour and 14 minutes. Thanks to you all who tuned in. Thank you so much for joining Bardo's Breakdown. Thank you for your questions, your comments. Thank you to the Ohio State student. Please send me your contact information. I want to send you something. And thank you all for tuning into Bardo's Breakdown. I always have a blast doing this. You guys are great. Love you all. And I'll come back later on the week with more information and news from Big Ten basketball. Shout out Tom Izzo. Congratulations, 700th win, brother. Love you. Love all you all. Until next time, holla, y'all.